Imagine chasing down a woolly mammoth through the freezing tundra, wind blowing through your hair, only to realize that the top of your head is completely freezing. Did our ancient ancestors actually suffer from male pattern baldness, or is losing your hair a modern curse caused by stress, junk food, and sitting at desks all day? To find the answer, we have to travel back hundreds of thousands of years, long before shampoo, hats, or mirrors even existed. It turns out, baldness isn't a modern disease at all. In fact, it is deeply woven into our evolutionary history, and the truth about ancient baldness is far weirder than you think. To understand if cavemen went bald, we first have to look at our closest living relatives, chimpanzees. If you look closely at an older male chimp, you might notice something hilarious. Many of them have receding hairlines, and some even develop completely bald crowns, looking remarkably like a middle-aged dad at a backyard barbecue. Since chimps and humans split from a common ancestor around 6 million years ago, this tells us that the genetic machinery for losing hair on our heads is incredibly ancient. It was already pre-programmed into our DNA before we even became human. When our ancestors finally shed their thick coats of body hair to stay cool while running long distances, they kept a thick mop of hair on their heads. This head hair served a critical purpose. It acted as a natural helmet, protecting our oversized, highly sensitive brains from the scorching African sun. But soon after we grew this protective mop, the genetics of baldness went to work. We know this because scientists have mapped the genomes of ancient humans, including Neanderthals and Denisovans, who lived tens of thousands of years ago. By analyzing their DNA, researchers found the exact genetic variants linked to male pattern baldness. Yes, that means there were absolutely bald Neanderthals walking around the icy plains of Europe. But this raises a massive evolutionary puzzle. In nature, traits that harm our survival usually get filtered out. In the freezing ice age, having a bald head would make you lose body heat incredibly fast, putting you at risk of hypothermia. So why did natural selection let the baldness gene survive? Why didn't it die out? Evolutionary biologists have a few fascinating theories. The first is called the solar panel theory. When ancient humans migrated north into cloudy, cold regions like Europe, they struggled to get enough sunlight to produce vitamin D, which is crucial for bone health and immune system strength. While thick hair blocked the weak northern sunlight, a bald head acted like a solar panel, absorbing every bit of sunlight available and keeping our ancestors healthy during long, dark winters. The second theory is all about social status and survival. In primate societies, physical markers of age and maturity are incredibly important. Just like male silverback gorillas grow silver hair on their backs to show they are the leaders, a bald head on an ancient human might have been a powerful visual signal. It told the rest of the tribe, I have survived many years, I am wise, and I am a mature leader. To a young hunter, a bald elder wasn't weak. They were a walking library of survival knowledge. This status made bald men highly respected, helping them secure resources and successfully pass on their genes to the next generation. There is also the parasite defense theory. In ancient times, thick hair was a breeding ground for nasty, disease-carrying parasites like lice, ticks, and fleas. Without modern hygiene, these tiny pests could cause severe infections or even death. A bald head was much easier to keep clean, making bald individuals less likely to suffer from parasite-borne illnesses. But how did a bald ancient human actually survive the freezing winters without a natural beanie? They had to get creative. Before the invention of stitched hats, bald humans likely rubbed animal fats, oils, or even thick mud on their heads to act as an insulating barrier against the wind and cold. Later, they began using the pelts of small animals, wrapping them around their heads to keep warm. And what about trying to cure it? While we don't have written records from prehistoric cavemen, the moment humans learned to write, they immediately started complaining about losing their hair. Ancient Egyptian medical papyruses contain recipes for hair loss cures made from a mixture of fat from lions, hippopotamuses, crocodiles, and snakes, all rubbed onto the scalp. In ancient Greece, the famous physician Hippocrates, who was bald himself, prescribed a mixture of opium, horseradish, pigeon droppings, and beetroot. Needless to say, none of these worked. So, the next time you look in the mirror and worry about a receding hairline, don't feel bad. You aren't suffering from a modern defect. You are carrying an ancient, battle-tested evolutionary trait. Your baldness is a badge of honor passed down through millions of years of human survival, shared by the very hunters and elders who conquered the Ice Age.